Morning, everybody. It's Thursday the 29th, and we're almost done with this week. It's amazing. I had a great time yesterday. Rick Beato and Tim Pierce came out to my house. Rick is in town, and Tim lives just across town from me. We get together, but I had never met Rick in person before. It had always been just us communicating by emails or phone calls and things. So it was an absolute treat to have him over at the house. And then we went out to dinner and just hung and told stories and talked about trials and tribulations of YouTube and some of the things that go on with it that we've all become like brothers in arms over dealing with. So it was great. Had a great time. We didn't sit down and film any interviews or anything like that. Maybe down the pike we'll do that again. But this was just really just a great social evening of getting together. And so when I was starting to think about what to do today, I had another thing I was going to do, fully intended to do, that involved me and Tim. But then everybody really seemed to really enjoy the Jude Cole posting from yesterday. So I thought I'll just continue on a little bit longer with that and go back to one of the other albums I did with Jude called Start the Car, which we did back in 1992. And Tim is on this, so I didn't get that far off track ultimately. But this was really, Jude's one of those artists, like I've talked about yesterday. I don't have to be, long-winded about this, but he's just one of those guys that I've really always admired his musicianship, his singing, his writing. He's a really talented guy, and I thought it was worth just reviewing a couple of more songs. Yesterday was also really interesting. The sound engineers and people, they would have these gatherings all the time that just luncheons and, before pandemic, during pandemic, they became virtual. And yesterday I joined in on the one that they were doing yesterday, paying respects to Al Schmidt. And it was amazing. You get on, I do Zooms all the time, and it's usually, a page with, half a dozen people on it or so. And this was like 4 solid pages of really great people in this business, all just talking about it. And as I think Steve Genowick said it, he said, Al would have hated this. It's because it was just, it was one of these things that he was not a celebrity. He was a star within the community. But, he really just did his gig, man. And he really was strong in his personal beliefs and things and how he did things. So to have a whole bunch of people sitting around just talking about him, I think would have made him a little bit nuts too. But it was beautiful. It was just one of those things where you just kind of sit there, and it's hard to believe somebody who had that impact on everybody is no longer he's with us on a level, but that physical guy that you just like to be around and work with is no longer there. So it was surreal, but I saw a lot of people on that I have not seen, because generally we all see each other when we're working, and if not, it's harder to get together. And so to have a screen full of all the people that just all talking and sharing in this moment of reflection about a life and career well lived was something else. So I was grateful that they did that, and had another friend come by the house yesterday, who we met a while back on a journey. Who lives in the south of France and is over here for a little vacation, came by the house. And so we had a really nice visit. And then Rick and Tim got here. So yesterday ended up being a pretty full day. I've got a bunch of stuff to do today. And one of the things that was cool was through the Grammy Museum, they had an auction. And the immediate family, each of us donated things to that. And Sheldon Dingwall was kind enough to donate a bass to the auction. And the auction is over, and the gentleman who bought that bass, one of the things that came with that bass was a 30-minute Zoom with me. And we're going to do it today at 4 o'clock my time. And I have no idea what we're going to talk about or anything. It'll, I'm here for him. I believe his name is Garrett. I've got the connection stuff and everything we're going to Zoom and stuff, but that'll be kind of cool. But I so appreciate that he bought the bass, and the donations were going to a great cause and everything. And we have another bass that's going up for auction that Sheldon donated that is going to be benefiting the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, which is one of my favorite charities that I give to. It's a remarkable place that rescues elephants from sideshows and circuses and just gives them an opportunity to live their life out as nature intended it, out on the open fields. And it's incredible. It's a wonderful thing. If you ever want to just look it up and see the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee. I could get more info on that. But so I'm doing that this afternoon, and in between this and then I've got a bunch of little things to take care of. It's like I always say all this stuff. Everybody's got stuff to do. Everybody can fill a day with obligations and things that they need and want to do. So I'm going to go back and visit a couple more of Jude Cole songs from the follow-up album from the one I did yesterday. You know what that means. Let's see what we got here. So this album was called Start the Car, and it was produced by James Newton Howard and Jude Cole. James is a wonderful composer, pianist. I did a number of movies with him over the years, and he was another one of the guys that was deeply rooted in like the Toto family of musicians and stuff, but really a gifted composer. So he did this one. Let's see. The song I'm going to start with is called A Place in Line, and this is me and again Pat Mastoletto on drums. Robbie Buchanan, great Robbie Buchanan, was taking care of keyboards on it, and the piano on it is David Paich from Toto, and and he wrote Africa, and his dad was Marty Paich, who was one of the great arranger conductors in this business. So these families can run pretty deep. So I'll start with this one here. This is called A Place in the Line. Here we go. Jude Cole. Jude does everything else on these backgrounds, everything. So Henley-esque.
She had a child. It lasted one summer till this young heart ran wild. It seems there is nothing in this world that binds. You're trying to find a place in the line. words of wisdom still ring in my ears as I struggle to find my place in the light. 'Cause I'm still trying to find my place in the light. Place in the light. Someday I'll find place in the place in the
David Page.
place in the light. Place in the
Just cruises. Yeah, that's one of those songs, you know, you're out in a convertible driving down Pacific Coast Highway and just nice breeze blowing, just cruising. Nice. Okay. This song is called Right There Now, and it's myself and John J.R. Robinson on drums, James Newton Howard on piano on this one, and Ron Aiello on mandolin. And everything else in these vocals and all that, everything pretty much is Jude. Guitar, all the solos and all that stuff. I mean, he pretty much has it all covered. So here we go, Right There Now.
sunset on the river, down in old Watertown. Hear the train whistle blowing as the leaves kiss the ground. I'm right there now. I was just a young boy, going nowhere soon, with a dream and a beat up six string, just howling at the moon. Right there now. Eyes on the darkness, saved by the clouds. Keep me from falling, and I swear I'll hold it down. Right there now.
Again, these are all with Frankenstein.
The time was changing, factories were shutting down. But we were rock and roll stars, in all the watered down bars, and teenage driving home in the driving rain, past highway signs and breakout little lines, California dreaming. Oh, right there now.
Just great straight ahead pop music, and it is just, it's a delight to play. It's a delight to listen to for me. I always loved working with James Newton Howard. I think one of the projects we had the most fun on was he did the music for a live action animated film called Space Jam, and we did that, and that was where we really got deep into Carl Stalling, who had written all of the great classic Warner Brothers cartoon music of the golden age of it. And James really logged some serious time into studying Carl Stalling's work. So doing that movie was like manic, because if you ever listen to those classic cartoons, and if you close your eyes and don't watch the cartoon and just listen to the track, the score, it's unbelievable. It's so complicated and so insane. There's really nothing like melodically that you're hooking onto as much as it's action and things like that. He really nailed it for Space Jam. It was really a fun project to do, but he's written some absolutely beautiful film scores. So it was fun to do this project with him. Last song I'm going to do here is called To Tell the Truth, yet another lineup on this one. It's myself, Jeff Picaro on drums, Tim Pierce is playing guitar, Lenny Castro is on percussion, James Newton Howard and Robbie Buchanan are doing keyboards, and the background vocals are Chuck Sabatino and John Elefante. And this album was mixed by Chris Lord-Alge, who I've done lots of albums with over the years, and he did a beautiful job on this. So this one is to tell the truth, not to tell the truth. That was a TV show. So let's not get those confused here. Okie dokie. So here we go. Tell the truth. Space, the final frontier. It's a good song. Jeff.
There's no sense in going on this way, baby.
Loved playing with
You
him.
know it's time to say what you mean. There's no sense in going out, trying to replace a love that never came clean. After all the time we've spent together, don't you think it's right? Something in my head to read your mind. Maybe we're just wasting time. Tell the truth. You know my heart is in your hands, so give it up. I'll take a stand. Just tell the truth. Come on, tell the truth. Let's start it over, or call it over somehow. Start it over, or call it over. Just start it back to the baby. Call it over somehow.
Yeah.
So if you want to be my baby, stop wasting time. Just tell the truth. 'Cause you know my heart is in your hands. So give it up, take a stand. Just tell the truth. Say, if you want to be mine, baby, stop wasting time. Just tell the truth. 'Cause you know my heart is in your hands. So give it up, give it up. Come on, tell the truth. Let's start it over, call it over. Someone that baby, call it over somehow.
Jeff Picaro. Man, what a pocket. I'll tell you, Jeff Picaro. I mean, everybody on it. Pat's amazing. JR's amazing. Just Jeff's pocket. I close my eyes and I can see that kind of rascal grin. You know, almost like a Cheshire cat looking over at me when we'd play. When he and I played, man, it was constant eye contact between us. And he was just one of the greatest joys, one of the greatest gifts a bass player could ever have in their life was to play with drummers like Jeff Picaro, you know, and that goes to, you know, so many of them, you know, but I so dearly miss Jeff. I miss Carlos Vega so much because Carlos was another one of these absolute joyous players that, you know, it bothers me a lot of times when I see groups playing and there's no eye contact between the players. They're in their own space, just doing their thing, and there's none of this feel. And to me, the essence of really great music when you're recording, especially, is watching each other, living in the moment with each other on it. I always want to be in eye contact with the drummer and keep an eye. If I got to make sure, like when I'm playing with Judith Owen, I always got to make sure I can see her face and I can see the keyboard, because she's going places. And a lot of times body language doesn't tell you where the downbeat is. I mean, you can see somebody's shoulders go when they're playing, and that isn't necessarily when they go down where the keys are going to be hit. But if you have that full contact where you can watch their face emotionally and see how they're playing from that, and then have just some reference to the hand movement, it makes all the difference in the world. But with Jeff, we always were just watching each other and goofing off of each other, and yeah, what a joy. So that'll be at the moment for the fabulous Jude Cole. It was great that a lot of people said, "Oh man, I'm glad you did Jude," who are obviously aware of him and his music. And it was great that a lot of people said, "Oh, I'd never heard of this guy. It's great. I'm going to go check everything out." And that's, to me, where this channel started, with me just showing bass parts to songs, which I'm going to do lots more of. I haven't abandoned that by any means. But I'm really enjoying this journey through artists that people might not be familiar with, just to give them a breath of air in their careers and recognition, because they're so well deserved. Some of the biggest hits I've worked on, to me, not necessarily pale, but they're not in the league with some of the stuff that never got released by other people, because there's so much more to this business than just having the machine take your music and get it out there and place it in some movie or something, and you're a big hit, where other people don't necessarily make that connection, and their music tends to percolate on a lower level or never gets heard. Because I've worked on some incredible albums that actually never got released at all. They're still sitting in a vault or a shelf somewhere, because some kind of business crap went down or something, that the label got pissed off and said, "Well, we're not going to release this, but we're not going to cut you loose," kind of thing. And so your career wallowed in this nonsense, the politicking of the music industry. So tomorrow, the thing I was going to do today, I'll probably do tomorrow. And it was heavily involved with, as a trio, all the basic tracks, for the most part, were cut with myself, Simon Phillips, and Tim Pierce. And I'll explain it all tomorrow and show you some examples of what we did, which was really a fun project. And I say no more. So I'm going to get the heck out of here, take care of some other things I've got to do. Then I'll be curious to meet the gentleman this afternoon who bought the Dingwall bass for charity, and I'll see what I can do to discourage them from anything. I don't know what I'll say. I don't know what the questions will be, but I look forward to it. It'll be fun. And again, I just want to say what an absolute pleasure it was yesterday to hang out and have dinner and shoot the shit with Tim Pierce and Rick Beato. Man, just two more delightful dinner companions you could not ask for. So wish everybody a great day, and I am going to get off and get going here on some other stuff I got to do, and you do the same. And give it any time you can. Give just a moment of time just to reflect on all the people who are working everywhere, hospitals, in schools, in food service, and everything that are, they're getting safer. But when we went out to dinner last night at this local restaurant that I go to, all the servers had masks and face shields on. I mean, everybody's doing their thing, and everybody was still distanced. The tables were set far apart. It's getting better. I just noticed today that Genesis has announced their North American tour for, I think, October, November. so that, yeah, I'm real curious to see how that goes, because that's going to be huge. I've seen the stage on it and stuff, and this has got to be, I'm sure it's going to be in pretty massive settings, and it'll be real curious to see just how, things start working out as they're opening up big venues to things, and how they're going to control spacing and masking and all that. But I'm really glad to see the guys. I'm a little jealous. There's nothing I would love more than to have been involved on that tour, but they are self-contained, so they have no need for me unless they need to hire another roadie, and then I'll go out with them. But we'll be at the same time they're doing that, we will be focused with the immediate family, starting our work and launching the new album. Hopefully, be launching the documentary film, getting everything going on our end of it, because we are so anxious to get out and play. And I'm excited about that. So that's it for today, and I will see you all tomorrow. And it looks like Saturday's filling up really nicely, so that'll be a real long day. That's probably Genesis calling now, but I'm busy with the immediate family, so I'm going to ignore it. They'll figure it out. So all my best to everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.